Hello, hello, and welcome to WYTV7 Lynn Demons, and this is Financial Confidence.
In a rut? Need a way out? Lynn Demons is here to help. She's your personal financial rebound coach. Being a wife, mother, and educator, she understands the importance of controlling your finances and building generational wealth. She is here to help you find money you didn't know you had and live life on your terms. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it is true, and it's definitely a good thing. Lynn Demons of Demons Enterprise offers one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and radio podcast entitled Financial Confidence.
Thank you for joining us for this podcast today. And where our guiding principle for the show is Matthew 6:33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. As we talk about making our money, keeping our money, and growing our money, we also ask that you pray over your finances. Commit this simple prayer to memory as you continue to grow to build not only generational wealth, but transcendent wealth that you share with others. If you'll bow with me quickly. Lord, help me to value the things in this world that are really valuable. That's my relationship with you, my life, and my family. Help make me a responsible steward of your financial resources, and let us trust your holy word for the eternal glory of thy son, Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
And we want to thank you guys so much for joining us. We have a super show I'm excited to have in the podcasting studio with us today, if you will, Miss Rita Oliver. It is an SOS type of day today, guys. Yes, SOS, at all points bulletin we're putting out there on those retirement accounts. So our topic today is organizing your finances for retirement. And oftentimes, this is a challenge area for many of our listeners because they're dealing with so many other things in life. And oftentimes, that lack of a financial plan has not put us in the position to take advantage of the ability or those options that are available to us for retirement. So I'm super excited to invite Miss Rita Oliver onto the broadcast today. Miss Rita, how are you?
I am doing great. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this and absolutely love this and absolutely love the topic,
I'm sure you do. Yes, ma'am. Can you tell us, since you are the SOS specialist, yes, she's a money strategist as well, y'all, Miss Rita Oliver, tell us what the SOS stands for with your company.
SOS stands for strategies, options, and solutions. Because strategies means that you have to have a plan, Lynn. And in that plan, you have to have options because everybody can't go in the same box. And then the important part of it all is a solution. Realistic, simple, and viable. So SOS, that international call for help that's recognized all over the world, those 9 clicks. So I'm throwing the life preserver out to let everybody know I'm here to help you to get your money.
Love it, love it, love it. So how did you get started in this line of work? Will you just share your story with us, please?
Yes, absolutely. I got started, Lynn, just by deep thought and trial and error. I am single and, working a career. I still work a full-time job, and I also have the business here. And so one day, Lynn, when I had purchased my home that I'm sitting in now talking to you from, I told a good friend of mine that I had gotten a home and I had done 2 mortgages and all that stuff. And she was a retirement counselor for the federal government because we both worked there. And she said, Rita, I have done many retirement packages and checked many people out. She said, I've seen many of them come back to work because they had too much debt because they hadn't planned for retirement.
Yes.
And that started me thinking. And so she said when she started seeing that, she told her husband that, we got to get out of debt because we got to be able to retire. So when she said that, Lynn, that I started reading and researching everywhere on what to do and how to do. And so then we started sharing information, and then I put a plan in place to pay off my home. and paid off my home in 11 years, and then took that money and started investing more into retirement and for my future. So from there, I then worked with a financial planner, because after I paid the home, just like a lot of people out here, Lynn, I had a lot more disposable income. So when you get more disposable income, you start spending. And I, of course, like nice stuff, so I started spending. So, but something said one day, you can't continue to do this if you expect to be somewhere in life and be safe and secure, because that is high on my priority list for me, is being safe and being secure and being stable and knowing that I am okay. And money helps you do that. It gives you that comfort. So I contacted a financial planner that I saw on TV. Her name was Robin Young. She was on Black Enterprise Women of Power Summit. So I contacted her, and she sat down and worked a plan for me, because I told her, Lynn, you know, I thought that I was a failure at money. And when she looked at what I had accumulated in assets for myself and my 401k, my home, she said, you're not a failure at all. She said, but what we just need to do is tweak you so that you will be okay when it's time for you to retire. Then I worked an internship with her. And then from there, we worked together. And then I decided to come out on my own after finishing up my certified financial planning education. And here I am today. So what I learned from her was about how she did it differently. She didn't fit me into a box. She made it fit for my lifestyle and what I like to do. And then I saw from going to CFP school how I could help people to fit it for their lifestyle, but how I could also make it more simple for them, more realistic for them, and how they could do it. And that's what brings me here today with SOS, is that I want to educate and empower you and help you to know what you have. You can build something from what you have, but it's going to require you to change your mindset, your behavior, and take action.
Oh, love it. Love it. I want to backtrack for just 1 second and give you kudos to something that you said, because you said you paid off your mortgage in 11 years. And most people think I gotta carry this debt for 30 years and haven't actually put a plan into place. So, I mean, that is something that is not only significant, right, for you that you were able to accomplish, but there are just, you know, it's very important that we know and understand that there are things you can do. Here is someone on the show who has done it. And dare I say, she could probably point you to others who have also gone through that process. I'm working on that as well, because we have to be done and out of this mortgage by the time my baby finishes elementary school. That's mommy's goal, right? So
and you
we
can
have
achieve it, you can achieve it.
Absolutely.
Everybody can.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So in looking at this, we'll get back to our SOS for this retirement conversation, because oftentimes a lot of the people that I speak with, a lot of the clients or individual women that I'm speaking to in conversations, oftentimes they'll say, oh, I just went in and I checked off the boxes on that retirement account. So I don't really know what it is in there. I don't really know what my fees are. I don't really know, you know, what I'm invested in, and I have no clue where to start. So in starting there, before I get into that, what are some of those common myths or misconceptions that many people may have as they're looking into retirement planning, or they're just starting out, even looking at a 401k or IRA or Roth IRA? It's like an alphabet soup, right? Where do they begin?
Well, the first thing where they got to begin, Lynn, is they have to know and understand that retirement planning is their responsibility. And what I mean by that is that the government is not going to come and rescue you. Neither is your employer.
Right.
Under the retirement rules and the Internal Revenue Service Code, no requirement for an employer to give you a retirement plan. So there's nothing required by law to do it. They do provide employer-sponsored 401k plans. That's why you should take advantage of them. So the misconception is that, you know, first and foremost, it's just that because I'm in it and I check off these boxes, I'm going to be okay. No, you got to understand what you're in and what your money is going in. And that comes with acquiring knowledge from a coach like Lynn or myself that can help you with that. Because number one, I'm going to require you to have a retirement plan and help you develop it. You got to talk to Lynn about what goes in it and what is it, because you have to understand what your money is going in to reach the goals that you want to achieve. And that's the second thing. Do we know what we want to achieve in retirement, what our goals are? Do we know what our lifestyle is going to be? Are we going to live the same? Are we going to turn it up? Are we going to turn it down? And then the second thing, and that's true because people never think about that. And the other thing is that people think they really can work forever. I'm just going to work. I'm not going to retire. I hear a lot of people say that, but you should not say that. After you have put in 25, 30 years, you should enjoy the fruits of your labor. So retirement planning is a major life event. Listen to me, a major life event. So it's going to require you to know, number one, where you stand individually or as a family, a couple, financially. What are you all doing? Number two, then you both need to understand what plans you have in place by your employer, and do you have anything outside? And number three, you got to know that the government is not going to come and rescue you in this. This retirement planning is up to you. If you don't do it, it's not going to get done. That misconception is primary. If you don't do it, it's not going to get done. Because Social Security, granted, if you're paying into that, but there are a lot of plans out here today where people so they're not paying into Social Security. And of course, if you're an entrepreneur, you have the choice to do so. But if you are paying into Social Security, here's what you just need to understand. Social Security supplement, it is not a plan. Listen to the name of it. Old age survivors disability income. Listen to the operative word, survivor. There's no retirement in there. So it's up to you to get it done. And you can get it done by sitting down, having a conversation with Lynn, having a conversation with me. You've got to get the knowledge about it. But the first knowledge comes with you and your awareness of where do you stand financially. Are you living under the, as my friend Nicole Peterkin said, the veil of necessity, that everything you do is a necessity? Or are you need to get over here and get realistic about what you really need to live and what it's going to take for you to maybe make different decisions so that you can have the ability to make a decision about your future.
Awesome. I want to go back to a very valid point that you made, guys. Rita said that the government is not going to save you. Long gone are the days of the pension plan. Many of the millennials have no idea what that is, right? And oftentimes there's a misconception that's out there that Social Security is going to be there to save us. But she said it very well, guys, and I hope you caught that. It's the old age disability survivor, right? Right. If you're, you don't want to just survive. You want to do more than that, right? So hopefully we take it into account some of these things that she's sharing with us and get started, guys, today. That's the ultimate position that you should take. If you have not started, get started. So I want to ask you this then. Oftentimes, because we're having this conversation today, some of us don't start. You know, we always hear, oh, if you're starting your 20s, you can be a millionaire by this time. Or if you start early, compound interest is your friend. So what are the recommendations that you have for those people who say, well, I didn't start early. I couldn't start early. I wasn't in a place where I could. Now I'm in my 40s. Now I'm in my 50s. Is it too late for me? Is there anything that I can possibly do? So what would you say to that individual who comes with that question?
That individual that comes with that question to me, Lynn, I would say absolutely there's something we can do, because my motto is anything is better than zero. Anything is better than zero. So, but what we have to understand when you come to me in the 40s and 50s, like in the 40s, so we have to decide at that point, what are your goals? When do you want to retire? What's feasible? Now, you may have in your mind 55, which is 15 years down the road. But when we run the numbers on what it's going to cost and what you need, it may require you to work longer. Definitely if you come in your 50s, it's going to require you to work a little bit longer. Yes, we can do a lot of things, Lynn. What it's going to take is we have what we just talked about, age. The second thing is the cash resources available to do it, because we got to have money to do it. So therefore, we go back to that conversation on that debt. That's the biggest thing for those in the 40s and 50s. They got to get out of debt, Lynn. They got to get out of the mortgage. They got to get out of the auto. They got to get out of the credit card. They got to get out of student loans, college loans, or whatever. So that's the biggest thing in that 40s and 50s, because in the money life cycle, the 20s is the accumulation phase. 40s and 50s is what's called conservation and protection, meaning you should have less debt and more of a cash flow. So what we're seeing though is people have less cash flow and more debt. And then they take it into retirement and they can't retire and they do have to go back to work. So in the 40s and 50s, when they come to me for that plan, my first thing is we are attacking that debt, Lynn, because we need it to zero. You know, I have been doing SOS now since February 2016. That's when I opened the doors. And from all the people I've encountered, research I've done, the talks, the posts, here's what I know about retirement, and it is universal. And Lynn, I will stand on this forever. It's only two factors when it comes to retirement, deciding if, when, and can you afford to. And I don't care if it's 20s, 30s, 40s, or 50s. It's money and debt. You're going to need more money and zero debt. That's the bottom line. Because you cannot have a lot of outflows out of your household. You know, we have, people are caught up on gross salary. Gross salary is just a number. You got to concentrate on your net pay. When you take your 26 net biweekly paychecks, what are you getting? That's what you're living off of. That's what I call your no. But then when you look at your owe, what are you paying out each month? And if your owe is more than you know, that's not a good feeling. I call that
oh no.
That's right. Oh no. So 40s and 50s, you can still do it. You're going to have to put more in there because here's the bottom line. In the 40s and 50s, you have got to be at the max. And the max is in your employer-sponsored plan. Today, that's $18,500. That is $712 every 2 weeks. That's $1,424 a month. And then in your 50s, you have the ability to do catch-up, which is $6,500. That's $250 every 2 weeks. So we are talking $962 every 2 weeks, basically $1,934 a month. That is what you would have to do. That's what you got to do. And Lynn, I can talk that because that's what I do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that you also took it back to one of those biblical principles that I just have to bring up really quickly. And guys, it is Romans 13:8. Oh, no man, any debt except to love one another. Also, Proverbs 22:7. She hit on it, y'all. The borrower is servant to the lender. So you got to go in there and pay that thing off. Yeah, I know we're talking about retirement today, but how you going to retire if you got all of these other things hanging over your shoulder, all these other things causing stress and overwhelm in your life? Guys, these are simple and practical things that you can do. And it's not that difficult. We make it more difficult ourselves because we choose to do other things. That's what's most important here as we move forward in this retirement planning conversation. So let me ask you this then, because we did talk about Social Security and the fact that for many of us, Social Security won't always be around. And dare I say, when we retire, we won't be able to count on that. So what impact will Social Security have on retirement planning for single individuals versus married individuals as well? And dare I say, even losing a spouse, that can also have some impact for us. Yes?
Absolutely, Lynn. Absolutely. Great point. Great point. Social Security. You know, as I said earlier, if you are your employer, your plan is integrated with Social Security, meaning that Social Security is being deducted from your paycheck. And then if you are a business owner, meaning that you're paying the Social Security taxes as an employee and then paying them the employer taxes as well. So with Social Security being a single individual like myself, I have paid in, Lynn, now for 33 years, going into 33 years consistently. So, you know, as a single individual, I can go out to, and if you don't know, the Social Security Administration no longer sends you your statement. You have to go to ssa.gov and set up your account to see what you've paid in. Because what's critical is this, is that you have to have paid in 40 quarters to get what's called the full retirement age benefits. Now, you can pay in 13 quarters, which is about 4 years, and you will get partial benefits. So you need to go and see what you have done. First and foremost, you need to see what you have done, what is on record. And so for a single person planning for it, what I do for people, Lynn, is that we run the numbers based on what they've accumulated. Then Social Security is just on top of it. That's married or single. Because you, as I said before, are responsible for the retirement planning. So you need to build it with the employer plan, and you need to build outside of that with other instruments here with an IRA, Roth IRA, and brokerage accounts. And Social Security is just like the cherry on top of a whipped cream on ice cream. You know, you can get it or not, you know, and then you can have the choice when you take it. Because Social Security, you can take it at age 62, age 66, or 67. That's called your FRA, full retirement age, or at 70. So then you have the choice of when you can take it. See, what happens is because you haven't planned or sat down with me or Lynn at 62, you got to take it and you're only getting 75% of your benefits. See, you want 100% of your benefits that will come at the FRA age. So therefore, let's go back. If we think about what we need to do, where are we living today? How are we living today? How do we want to live tomorrow? As I said before, are you going to live bigger? You're going to take it down? Or are you going to make it, moderate? Then if we know what it's going to take us to live, then we can plan for the money. But the key piece is, as I said, you got to take the debt out of it. Because as long as you paying somebody else, that's going to minimize your retirement income. Because what you have to understand in retirement, there's no more employer. Retirement is based on the assets that you have built. The money is coming from you now. It's not coming from the employer anymore. It's coming from the assets that you've built. So the assets that you have invested in that 401k by sitting down and talking to Lynn about should you be in a aggressive growth, in a conservative, or in a exchange traded fund. And then it's about the assets because your money is coming from that. So depending on the decisions you make today, the first one is that you got to get a retirement plan. 2, you need to get coaching about it. 3, you need to get about the investments that go in it so that you can reach the goals that you want to, so that Social Security will not be a stress on you, because you're not going to be able to live on it or retire on it, just try to survive on it. But if you have built your assets that is going to take care of you and you know that you're going to be okay tomorrow, Social Security will just be the icing on the cake, whether you're single or married.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it. So you've given us some food for thought there with that scenario, and you made me a little bit hungry with that icing on the top. But looking at this, guys, so getting serious for a moment, what are some of those questions then? You said we do need to talk to a coach or have a financial planner that we're going to. So what are the questions? What are the types of questions that our listeners should be asking? Because oftentimes we don't know what to ask when we go in to have these conversations, because this is not something we've been at the table, right? We haven't been around the table to have these types of conversations. So what types of questions should they be asking when they decide to go in or to even seek a financial planner?
Well, first and foremost, Lynn, particularly when you are working with the employer-sponsored plan, you need to ask at your job when you see what you have, your selection of investments that you can go into, if they have somebody who can explain it to you and what this will do for your money. Because the number one thing all of us want our money to do, invested, is grow to more. So you need to ask the questions do they have somebody on board that can help me understand what this is and what it is about it? Then you need to ask the question, what are the risks involved? Because everything has a risk, okay? Risk is the potential that an adverse condition will happen. So everything has a risk. So investments have a risk. Your money's gonna go up, your money's gonna go down. So you need to ask the question, what's the potential of how much I could lose here? Because you could lose some of your principal and then some of your principal could double. The other thing you need to ask them, Lynn, is that, I make this amount of money, but I know that I want to do this in retirement. How much money am I going to need to do today and continuously in the future to get to my goal? Because see, some people think it's only this one small amount and it's going to get me there. You have to do additional amounts. I'm going to be doing a webinar late next month for millennials called the Millennial Money Plan, how to build $1 million on $100 a week. So they can do it, but I've got a different tier plan in there. The other thing we need to ask them, financial planners, particularly if you go outside, is do they really understand your employer plan? Do they understand how it works? Because everybody doesn't know how it works. Because you can go to a financial advisor and they just put you in some stocks and say, this is going to make you money to do this. This is going to make you money to do that. Not necessarily. Do they understand what you already have and what that could be? And then what's the bridge that you need with them to get you there? Because the first and foremost too, and I'm backtracking, is you need to prepare before you go talk to somebody. You need to know where you stand. You need to know where you stand. So you need to be prepped to ask questions to know what you want. So if you are single, look over what you have. If you don't understand it, find someone like Lynn or myself to help you. And then if you are married, you guys have that discussion at the table. Both of you have plans. The one could be a 457B, one could be a 401k, with different stipulations. So you all need to understand what you have and prep and decide, and then go and ask, where can we be? What should I do? How much do we need to save now? Are we doing okay now? In 2 years, do we need to up it to this? So preparation is key here. Key for the whole thing is you need to know when you walk in the door what you want to do and where you want to be and where you are today. Then people can help you get there. Because Lynn said it, we don't have that talk at the table. And, particularly for married couples, I'm going to say this, I'm not married, but here's very simple. Table talk is just as important as pillow talk. So we got to have, you all got to have some meetings at the table here on where you are and to go somewhere, because there is no reason 2 people sitting in a household with 2 salaries that should not be leveraged and maximized to the optimal. No reason. No reason. That's what I mean by table talk is more important as pillow talk. But you got to ask that first. You get prepared before you go in that person's office. What are you all doing? Be honest about where you are, on what you're owing and what your no is and what you owe. And the second thing is then be realistic about what you want to do and what you're going to need in the future, and if you guys can realistically get there. So that's what you want them to give you, is that realistic picture. Don't get a picture that can never be. Get a realistic picture, and when you get comfortable with that picture, you can change that picture to do something else.
Absolutely. I love it. Guys, so you heard it here today. Know before you go. Know exactly where you stand. And what she means by that, what's your net worth? Your assets minus your liabilities. It's as simple as that. Know where you stand. And the other point, I love it. Table talk is just as important, if not more important, than pillow talk. Married folk, y'all hear that? Yes. Yes, ma'am. All right. So really quickly, before we close it out, it's been a pleasure having you here for the show today. Are there any parting words that you would like to share with the people before we end this broadcast today?
I do, Lynn. I am on this movement with changing people's mindset with money, because, people may feel that money is not everything, but it is an important part of life. It is an important resource to get us where we want to be, and also to give us in our mind comfort and remove any doubt. But what I want to leave you with is this. There is one important natural resource that we have got to maximize and use it wisely. And it's a beautiful one. It's called time. It's a natural resource. Occurs every day, every second, without us doing anything. So you've got to take advantage of time by taking the time today to get started and talk to somebody, to talk to Lynn, to talk to me, to start reading, to start taking the time that I have got to do something about my situation. Because here's what I want you to understand. If you're sitting here today at 55 and say, I want to retire at 60, and you've never done anything, and you go to someone, there is nobody, not myself nor Lynn, that can build for you in 5 years what you didn't do in 25. That's what I mean by time. But you do have the opportunity to take the time today to go and do something. Because as I said, anything is better than zero.
Ah, love it. Love it. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today, Miss Rita. You want to tell us where we can find you on social media, please?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook. You can go find me on Facebook just at Rita Oliver, RITAOLIVER. And my business page out there is Strategies, Options, Solutions, -- Money Strategies. But if you come to my Facebook page or inbox me, I will respond to you. And my website is RitaOliverSOS.com. So you go there and sign up for my newsletter, and you will get my free document called Simple Money Truths. You, your life, you, your money, and your life. You can get that for free.
Oh, awesome, guys. Go get it. Simple money truths. You can't beat that. Well, we thank you so much for your time, Miss Rita. Listeners, we thank you for your time as well, because we know your time is your most precious commodity, and you took time out of your schedule to spend that with us, and we don't take that lightly. So thank you again for joining us here at Financial Confidence on WYTV.
Calling all HBCU alumni, supporters, and golfers. It's that time of year again. Yes, the HBCU Swing Into Their Dreams charity golf tournament on Tuesday, April 5th. If you missed the last one, you have time once again to be epic. Don't miss the golf tournament of the year, the Swing Into Their Dreams HBCU charity golf tournament at the Atlanta National Golf Club in Milton, Georgia, Tuesday, April the 5th. Registration begins now. Sign up your golf teams at swingintotheirdreams.com. That's swingintotheirdreams.com, or call 770-686-7148. That's 770-686-7148. Don't miss it.
Finances in a rut? Need a way out? Lynn Dimmons is here to help. She's your personal financial rebound coach. Being a wife, mother, and educator, she understands the importance of controlling your finances and building generational wealth. She is here to help you find money you didn't know you had and live life on your terms. Sounds too good to be true? Well, it is true, and it's definitely a good thing. Lynn Dimmons of Dimmons Enterprise offers one-on-one coaching, group coaching, and radio podcast entitled Financial Confidence, God's